guys, Holy Nights with you here, bringing you Wiseman's Grandchild anime review. This is episode 4. This was a very interesting episode. It was dialogue heavy until the end. Then we got some really good action. But it starts off with, Shin being depressed still about, what he had to do to Kurt. And he doesn't realize because of how depressed and upset he is with himself that he wasn't able to catch him. He doesn't realize that Stronoff is outside his window actually looking down on him and spying on him. And August, basically comes up behind him and was like, hey, you alright? You feeling good? And he's like, yeah. And they start talking and they come to a conclusion that when it comes to Kurt being demonized, there was foul play at foot because they state that the only way for a human to become demonized and become a demon is that they have to do something with they basically need a certain amount of magic energy, and when they lose control from that or get exhausted, then they fall into risk of becoming demonized. But it is impossible for Kurt to become one because he was never a top magician in the first place. He only ranked, I believe, A or B, something like that. So maybe high C class, I believe. I forget what it was. But the point is, he's not a top-ranked magician, so he shouldn't have been able to become demonized without somebody, like I said, interrupting him, which Shin believes is foul play. And August is like, yeah, you're right. Then they go to his house, to Shin's, to, discuss this more. But we see Uncle Darius is there, the king, and he tells Shin, because of what you did yesterday, we're gonna make it public so everyone can know we have basically a new symbol of hope, and also we're gonna give you a medal. And him and his friends were shocked and surprised, but when it comes to his grandparents, Guru and Merlin, they was kind of upset because the king stated that if you come to my country and live here and go to this school, Shin could be able to hide in peace and he won't have to worry about politics or military. And it seems like the king is going back on his word, but he did tell them, I'm only doing this for the publicity stunt to protect Shin. Believe me, I'm not going to allow him to be involved. I want the people to know that we have a hero, but I'm going to make sure Shin is not also involved in this. So they was like, as long as you keep your promise, then we're fine. But if you ever break your promise, we're taking Shin and we're leaving the country. The kingdom. So, and he was like, I make sure to keep that at heart. And then, the next day when Shin was going to school, walking, Cicelyne and Maria, all the chicks were looking at Shin, were blushing, and they were all talking about him because of how popular he is now, all being thirsty over him. And Cicelyne, she kind of used the same words that we used on her last episode, on Shin, that Shin used on her. She turned it around because you remember Shin said last episode, I'm doing this on my own initiative. Please don't, slap it away. Be okay with it. So she used that same phrase against him when she asked him, we're doing this for you, so don't, be scared or think that you're being a hassle or a drag to us. We have that cute moment between them. And they're in school, and then when they're in school, we get 2 new characters introduced. We get Oliver, we get Mark, which is the guy, and for the girl, I'm probably butchering her name, but, Olivia, we get her. And they join in the new group study for Shin. And Alice was super happy because they both come from well-known family. When it comes to Mark, he comes from a blacksmith family that's known for his weapon sharpness. And when it comes to, what's her name again? I always forget it. I just said it too. Oliver. She's basically, her family owns a bakery that's famous in town. So, of course, Alice always being the hungry, greedy one, she accepted both of them in with thumbs up and everything. And Shin was like, that's not how we qualify people for the group. But I guess they're going to stay part of the group because he ain't turned them down. So that's 2 new characters and cast to the group. And while they discussed in this and stuff, and they went to the cafeteria, we get 2 investigators talking about Kurt and his situation. And they decided to talk to Kurt's main teacher, Stronoff, which we found on this episode that his name is Oliver Stronoff, so I'm going to just call him Oliver for now. And they went to Oliver's house and they started talking to him. and they was getting information off of him, and one of the guys was like, can we invite you to the body exam so you can examine his body with other famous mages and see what's going on? And Oliver took it, and as, they driving them over there to the exam, we switch back to the cafeteria where the people are at, and they talking about Shin's sword, because the sword that he used last time was just a regular sword. He wants a well-built, a forged sword. So, whereas they talking about that, and they're talking about like how his allowance is not a lot, so he can't buy a whole bunch of swords and use them over and over again, or buy one expensive sword. He wants to see what, Mark can do for him. And Mark was like, yeah, I can probably do what you want. It's going to be hard and take a while, but it's possible. Because he wants a sword that's short and thin, but is as sturdy and as powerful as a heavy blade. So it's going to be like basically a 2-in-1. Whereas something at the same time he can catch his magic through it. And as they discussed this, they decided that the group is going to split in half. The females are going to leave with Aurelia to her bakery and enjoy some pastries over there, and all the guys are going to go with Mark and Shin to his workshop. And where they go off to, leave the school grounds, an explosion happened, and we switch over back to Oliver, and we found out that Oliver was actually getting tricked. They didn't want him to come here to examine the body. They came here because they wanted to arrest him, because they wanted to know why he didn't follow the gag order that was given by the king, and why would you tarnish Kirk's name by letting everybody know that he was the one who went demonized, and it was his fault. And how did you ever know he was the one who went demonized when the one who knew and fought him was Shin? So he kind of slipped up and gave himself away, and he attacked them, and that's when that explosion of that wall was somehow the same block that Shin and his friends was passing by. So the explosion kind of pushed them to the side, and when they looked, they saw one of the guards on the floor and everybody, and then we had like this epic battle between Shin and Oliver. And Oliver was pretty good, but Shin cast like this really powerful spell where he used all the light and the sun itself, and he reflects like this high heat beam down at him. And when it hit him, he exploded. And Shin used magic sense to find him, but he couldn't find him. And then we get two investigators that are called Rapisa, and I believe the other one is Dominic. And they ask Shin, how you doing? Are you okay? Thank you for saving us. But then after that, they asked him, can we ask, how did you do that? He started breaking it down to them, all scientific, and everyone just was like, what? You can be able to gather light and refract it back at high speed? Because that's technically what he did, using the sun and everything else around. But Shin did state it's weird that he got hit by this, and it exploded him. It shouldn't have exploded him. It should have just vaporized everything in its way. So that was kind of weird. But then in the end of the credits, we found out that Oliver actually used explosion magic to blow himself away from the beam, so he can be able to fake his death, like he got vaporized, but actually escape, even though he's badly wounded. And he even state that Shin is a lot more of a threat to him than he thought, and he just laughed it off, and that was the end of the episode. Again, this was a great episode, episode 4 of Wiseman's Grandchild. Now that we know that high-level mages, if experiments go wrong, or if their magic is depleted, they could become demonized. Which means, can that happen to Shin as well? Or is Shin unfazed? Because we know Shin, he's a human that died and got transferred over there, so just wanted to bring that out there. Another thing I wanted to bring up is that we got these 2 new characters, so hopefully we get more of them. It seems like these 2 characters came in at a good time that we need them, so either this is too good to be true, and they actually plotting something, or they just there for the plot device. We also found out that Olivia and Mark, they're actually in a relationship. They were actually friends since they were kids, and as they get older, they started dating. So we don't have to worry about Olivia trying to like steal Shin from Cicelyne, And we also have this one moment where Yuri, where she's like, I wish I could, do enchant magic like you do. And he was like, I can ask my grandmom to help you. And she kind of took his hand and she put her breast on him. And we have this cute moment as you see one of my thumbnails with Cicely just pouting. And Mariah just like doing this just to make fun of her. That she always doing, taking shots at her best friend. But that's what friends are for, right? But that was just a cute moment between them. We also learned about Dominic and the other security guard. I believe his name is Dennis. They were the ones told by the king to investigate this furthermore about this demon population and why are so many demonized humans coming out of nowhere. But in total, it was a good episode. When it comes to the king, I'm not really mad at him for trying to go back on his word and praise Shin, because in the end of the day, he has his responsibility as a king to protect his nation. That is his main responsibility. So it's not like he's trying to break his word with his friends and not involve Shin, who he treats like a nephew. But at the same time, like I said, since he's a king and his job is to protect the kingdom, he's going to need to use and utilize every chance that he gets. So, of course, having Shin, one of the most brokenest mages that we've seen so far on the show, it's good to have him on deck at fan face value, but we're going to see how that goes, because it seems like wherever Shin goes, trouble just seems to be there. Even his grandmother said it, Guru, she was like, why is it wherever you at, trouble just keeps getting bigger and bigger? And he was like, this ain't my fault. But again, this was a great episode. If I'm mispronouncing any names, forgive me. I'm not a manga or light novel reader, so I don't really know the full story or how to pronounce their names. So forgive me for those that are. And if I missed anything in this episode, leave it down below. But that's all I have for you guys. Like, comment, share, subscribe, share with your family and friends. Give this video a like. Tell me down below what you liked and didn't like about the episode, and anything that I'm missing. And tell me if y'all like the anime series so far. For me, I'm not really into like romance anime, but I do like magical adventure series, which this is a little bit of both. That slice of life and romance, so I'm giving it a try, and so far I like it a lot, so I'm gonna keep reviewing it until then. I want to know that we know Oliver is actually a demon, that's a demonized human, that is, and he actually has his brain intact. Does he have a demon form, or does he just stay in that human form with demon abilities? And who are the other two people that are with him in the opening? Will we see them soon? A lot of questions to be answered, but again, great series, great stuff. But that's all I have for you guys. Peace out and have a good one.